This week's sermon is entitled Reliable Sources. The following slides were previously covered on part 1 of Reliable Sources.
Reliable or credible witness. Reliability is a second factor. If a person, one of the first things that they look for, when I was trying to be a police officer, one of the first things they were looking for is, does the person have a fixed address? Amen. If a person has a fixed address, then they kind of look at that person as being a little more reliable. How long have they been on their job? You know, how reliable are they? We got a little videotape for you here. You might remember this.
Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts. We make them at least twice every day. Time to make the donuts. Not a few kinds like supermarket made donuts. Time to make the donuts. But up to 52 varieties of donuts. Time to make the donuts. I made the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, up to 52 varieties fresh day and night. No supermarket can say that.
So he would be known as a reliable witness. You know why? Because he got the same house, same job, same patterns. A person of reliability, a steady person. Amen. So one of the second factors of whether you are a decent witness or not is, are you reliable? Amen. Casey would be considered a reliable, from that dimension, that criteria, he would be considered a good witness because, oh, retired Army vet, you know, working steadily every day, you know, reliable. Sister April would be considered a prosecutor. Would love to have Sister April in the stand because, oh, a teacher, reliable teacher, mother, blah, 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 blah. Reliability. Reliability goes a long way. Amen? It should, as you can see, reliability can go a long way because when you are reliable, amen, you can build things, you can get things done, you can an organization moves based on reliable people. Amen. When people aren't reliable, then guess what? There's no growth. There's no growth. So understanding that reliability is a second criteria of what they look for in a good witness. Can we go to the next slide? The next thing is trustworthiness. Now, trustworthiness and reliability are close cousins, but there is a distinction. And the distinction is you can be reliably a liar. Amen. You can be reliably broke. Amen. I got a friend who is reliably broke. He ain't had cable since the 90s. You understand what I'm saying? Last time he had, you know what I'm saying? I mean, reliably not doing right. Amen. Reliably doing wrong. So you can be reliably wrong. Amen. So reliability and trustworthiness are hand in hand, but you can have someone who's, man, I can tell you even today, it kind of speaks volumes, and this part won't get cut out of the tape. You know, the Hill ministry can be reliable sometimes. Amen. Reliable doing the wrong thing. Amen. So what I'm trying to say is that you want to be reliable about the right thing. Amen. Trustworthiness is something that is different because it is, can someone trust you? Can someone trust your word? Can someone trust that you are what you say you about? Can someone trust that, you know, is this person's word match up with his actions? Amen. Trustworthiness is different than reliability. Matter of fact, I hate to say it, I don't mean to be arrogant. I have studied human behavior long enough where for me everybody's reliable. Amen. Because you can, after you watch people enough, you can kind of tell what folks are going to do. And when, you know, how they're going to do it. If you watch people, and if you care enough to watch them, you can almost see their moves before they do it. You see what I'm saying? But trustworthiness is the words come out of their mouth. Can you count on what they're saying? If they say they're going to be somewhere, or are they going to be there and be ready? Or it's trustworthiness. It kind of means fidelity. Amen. Faithfulness. Is the person trust? Do they have integrity? Do they have character? Amen. Trustworthiness is a little bit different. Do I have a film for this one, Miss Kim? Oh, and we don't. You can play it, but you can turn the volume down. See,
say that we are
they fought in the Vietnam War.
to victory today.
They fought in the Vietnam War for 7 years. Amen. But Richard Nixon and Lyndon Johnson, they knew they were in trouble because Walter Cronkite got up on the air and said, "What are we still doing up in here? Why are we still up in Vietnam?" And why were they in trouble when Walter Cronkite said it? Because he was a man that he was kind of known to be trustworthy. And he went to Vietnam himself and said, "What are we doing there?" And because a trustworthy person went to Vietnam and came back and bore witness that we are in a stalemate, we are losing lives for no reason. Because he bore witness. See, when you are known to be trustworthy, your witness, amen, your witness has more power when you are trustworthy. Amen. When people know, no, he don't lie. You know, I was in the Army, and there was this guy who he just couldn't help it. He habitually lied. I mean, if he was opening his mouth, he was lying. You know, I mean, you could tell him, like, you know, like he hurt his foot, he's stumbling around hurting his foot, and you know, he had a little soft cast on his foot, and I told him, I mean, change his name, Steve. I said, "Steve, how come you? What happened to your foot? Why you got that thing on your foot?" He says, "Well, I was in Georgetown and I was fighting ninjas." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "What are you talking about fighting ninja?" He said, "Yeah, man, I was with this girl in Georgetown and 3 ninjas jumped out of the alley." And he says, "I kicked one and he had some metal in his." And I'm like, "How are you going to make such an elaborate lie like that? You lying." You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, and there was some good old boys, you know, because Steve, he was a brother, and there was some good old boys that were talking about going from the barracks and going hunting. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, and you know, they were checking their personalized weapons out of the armory. So he gonna go up to him and he gonna go and say, "Well, y'all need weapons to go hunting?" He says, I got to teach you how to sneak upon a deer and just choke the life out of it. You know what I'm saying? And next thing and he would say he knew how to sneak up on a deer and then just put it in the chokehold and take it out. That's how Steve was. You know, and as soon as you saw Steve talking, you knew he was lying. And then, you know, matter of fact, he was telling a lie and he got so good at it. And he was a bigger dude. You know what I mean? So he just kept telling lies. And then all of a sudden, I remember this other friend who might see this tape. His name was Bowser. He turned around him in the middle of one of his lies. He said, why you stop lying? You know what I'm saying? He said, "Stop lying. Why you lying for?" And then Steve wanted to go and hit him. So, but because he was exposed. Amen. But there's just some folks that whenever they talk, I got a family member. And my worst nightmare is for her to allegedly witness something like the Trayvon experience, because, man, she's going to be telling the popo all kinds of stories. There's some people who are not trustworthy. But there's some people whose character is such that when they say, if they tell you that a chicken can pull a plow, you better hook it up. Because that's their character. If they tell you that a chicken can pull a plow, you better hook that bad boy up. You better strap him up. Because when they tell you, you can take it to the bank. Trustworthiness is another way to determine character.